So welcome to my YouTube channel. That's what we call The Good Life. Today we're going to be talking about all the things you can be planting or sowing in the month of February. It's such an exciting time at the moment with spring just around the corner. I think most of us are ready to get off the starting block and start to plant and sow some things. Now I'm going to go through some things that you can be sowing or planting. I'm also going to be going through the things that I'm definitely going to be planting. One thing I would emphasise, there really is no rush. You know, I very much pace myself over the coming months. There's some things that I'll always get in February, but the rest I'll generally spread out. But the things that I might be starting off myself, you might not like, and you might prefer to get something else in first. So I'm going to go through all the options and give you some help and hopefully get better germination for you as well when you do sow them. So if you've not already subscribed to my channel, it'd be really great if you could, because you'll get lots of helpful hints and tips all throughout the year from my allotment, my home garden, and from time to time my home kitchen. Now, first of all, if you've not got any fruit trees in your garden or bushes, or you've not got enough, you can plant some bare root trees at the moment, and that's a really good time to be doing that. Or I might be sourcing myself a blackcurrant tree, a bush, because one of mine isn't looking great, so I could do with another one. Something else, if you've not got any rhubarb, a really good all-rounder, really easy to grow and crops really heavily. A really good time to be putting that in if you've not already done so. So a few other things you could be planting. Asparagus seeds are a really good thing to be planting at the moment if you want to get some asparagus, or you can wait a few months and get some crowns. And one thing I would say for starting off seeds, it's a really good idea to have a propagator. I've had one for I don't know how many years. It makes germination so much quicker. I literally wouldn't be without it. You know, it's basically plugs into the mains. You get something that retains the water in the bottom. You put all your little module trays in there, and as soon as they've sprouted, you can either just take the lid off or move them onto a warm windowsill, or a heated greenhouse if you've got one. So if you've not got one of those, we will put a link up there. And we will put a link in the description. It's well worth getting one if you've not got one already. It's a real game changer, I've got to say. So something else you could be starting off if you've not done it already are some peas and some broad beans. Now, broad beans can be started off outside or inside in module trays. Peas I would generally still start off in module trays at the moment. If you put broad beans outside, I would cover them in case there's frost. Today it's been a really frosty day, so lots of my things have kind of shriveled up a little bit, but I know they'll bounce straight back up again when we get a little bit of warm weather. So don't panic if you've just gone out and things are looking a little bit limp. When it's a really frosty day, it is perfectly normal. So let's move on to what we should be sowing. So globe artichokes is another one. You could be starting those off from seed, or again you could buy some plants already started off a little bit later in the season. And Brussels and broccoli, they're a really good one to start off from seed at this time of year to get a nice early crop. If you've not chitted your potatoes, I've started chitting mine already, and we have got a video you can watch if you go back through the videos, the last one in fact, so it shows you how to chit so you can get them ready to put in the ground in March. It's obviously too soon to plant them, but it's really good to source them and start to get them chitting. If you wanted to start off some onion sets and some garlic, you could start those off in module trays in a greenhouse. I personally would direct sow mine straight in the ground in March, but again, if you want to give them a head start, you could start doing that now as well. So I've got a few other bits here that you could be starting off, and that I will do at some point throughout the year, and I might even do some of these in February. Like I said, my top 5 I'm going to mention at the end. So radish, a good old favourite. It's a quick grower, so you could be starting some radish off, again, you know, under cover or direct sow. Parsnips the same, they can go straight out. Personally, I'm going to wait a little bit longer for these. I direct sow them out a little bit later in the year because I personally find they germinate a little bit better. The same with carrots. If you did want to start some carrots off now, you could do. I mean, some of it does depend on where you are. When I used to grow a lot of my carrots and beetroots just at home, it's a lot more sheltered here and things would germinate a lot earlier. but over the allotment it's incredibly open and the frost hits it really, really hard. So that's another reason why I leave it. So it's all down to personal choice. Beetroots, again, in module trays, you could start those off, or you can direct sow. Rocket is another good one, a good all-rounder. This isn't wild rocket, but wild rocket is quite a good variety because it just keeps self-seeding, so you get it year after year. I've planted some and I never need to sow it anymore because it just keeps growing all the time. So that's a really good staple. Herbs, a lot of people forget about herbs, but there's an awful lot of herbs you can actually sow all year round. I mean, I've got chives, dill, mint, thyme, marjoram and garlic here, so those things you could be starting off. Obviously, you know, under cover, you know, either on a windowsill or in a propagator, but they obviously must be frost free. So something else you can be starting off are sweet peppers, chili peppers and aubergines. They could take quite a long time to come to fruition. So if you are going to start off aubergines, peppers, and any type of pepper, it's a really good idea that you start them off this month really, or next month. Either that, or you can source some already started off plants. I'll probably do a little bit of a mixture of both. I maybe will start a few of these off, but I often buy grafted plants. I think I've spoken about this in previous videos. I just find the crop that you get with grafted plants is amazing. I know they cost a little bit more, but someone recommended them to me years and years ago, and I think it's well worth it. But that being said, there's every chance I'll pop some of these in too, because I'm just addicted to growing, just to see how they go. So something else you can be sowing, and these are quick croppers, so if you're new to gardening, it's good old-fashioned mustard, cress, so you can be starting those off. Microgreens are a really, really fun thing to grow, and they grow really, really quickly. Again, these would be indoors and under cover. A propagator would definitely be really useful. I've got pak choi, I've got mustard oriental, and I've got chicory there. So they are something that you could start off, and indeed this might be one of the things that I do as well, because it's nice to get something, you know, they don't have to get very big because obviously they're microgreens, so you can start them off indoors and then you can start using them straight away. I haven't bought my sprouting seeds out, but if you've never tried sprouting, I've got a sprouter there, and I know you can just do it in jam jars, but once you've got a little sprouter it is really easy to use. That's a really fun and quick thing you can do in February if you've not done it before, and some of the delis and things charge you an absolute fortune for things like that. So to sprout your own seeds, and they're quite versatile. You can put them in risottos, salads, all sorts of things. They're done within a few days. So if you're new and you just want to get a quick fix of something that you've grown yourself, that's a really fun thing to do. So now moving on to my top 5 and the things that I always start off in February, come what may. Let's get to those, shall we? So I'm going to go through my top 5 on, that I start off, and I'm also going to tell you why I do it, and why it works for me. Rather than just say this is my top 5, I'm going to go through what they are and why I do it. So tomatoes, I will start off a selection of tomatoes. I've got Tigerello there, but I will start off a mixture. The reason I start them off early is because I do find that they do respond very well to be started off this month, and they do take quite a long time before you get a ripe tomato. Everyone thinks tomatoes are quite easy to grow, but they do actually take quite a long time to grow. So that's another good reason. They're so versatile. You can use them in salads, you can put them in stews, you can make sauces, soups, all sorts of weird and wonderful things. So if you've never tried tomatoes, it's a super easy thing to start off yourself. That's another thing. They're really reliable and really easy, and they take quite a while before they actually ripen. Something else is salad leaves. I always start off some salad leaves because they grow quite quickly, and I quite like getting them in quite early. And again, you know, we always need a little bit of salad with things that we're doing, so that's another really easy thing to start off. And again, I find it responds quite well to being started off in February. Again, I will always be using my propagator for all of these seeds that I'm talking about now. Chard, I like the multicoloured Bright Lights chard. Again, a super easy thing to start off this time of year. Again, I'll start it off in the propagator. Incredibly versatile, this vegetable. You can use the leaves as spinach. So when they're small, you can just put them in salads and things. And when the leaves get a little bit bigger, you use them as spinach. And even the stalks, you can cut them up and put them in salads. You can use them in risottos, all sorts of weird and wonderful things. And you get a little bit more flavour in the stalk than you would a normal spinach. So really, really cool thing to be starting off, and adds a lot of colour to the plate as well. Leeks is another one. I always start off in February because they take quite a while to grow, and again I find that they do respond very well to being started off this month. So again, I will definitely be starting those off, and again an incredibly versatile vegetable, a real staple in our house, one of my son's favourites, so we always have leeks on the allotment for that. I'm going to be making a leek and fish curry tomorrow, so I'll be using some of my homegrown leeks for that, so another really great one to start off. And lastly, kale. There's various types of kale. There's the curly leaf kale, and this is called Nero di Toscano, which obviously I pronounce very badly indeed. But there's all sorts of different kinds of kale, ridiculously versatile. You know, you can eat it raw, you can eat it cooked, you can do crispy kale. I find it a very reliable crop. Again, it comes quite early, and it responds very well to being started off this time of year. So I do hope you've enjoyed watching my video of what you can plant and sow in February. I'd love to know what you're planting and sowing, and whether what I've shown you has inspired you to get sowing. If you've got any questions or comments and you're not sure about anything, please do let us know and we will answer your questions.